Ah, that's good coffee. Hello, hello! Welcome to yet another episode of the Let's Play That Won't Die, Final Fantasy XI. I've got a special treat for you today, and I think I'll be able to show it all off. I hope I'll be able to show it all off. I don't know exactly what all the next steps are, but I've been hard at work, slowly. Wrong currency tab. Working on my Mythic weapon that I've been, I started it, I mentioned it probably 100-something episodes ago, that I was making the Great Katana. And, we did all that Nizul climbing, and I got all the Nizul Isle Mythic weapon skills. And we're at a very, ludicrously close threshold to the amount of Nizul Isle tokens we need. We could basically go in and do a single floor from the ground floor and be done with our Nizul Isle tokens. So I figure, hey, let's start out with that, and then we'll go finish the Alexandrite step, because why not? After which, I'm pretty sure we have to do ZNMs or something like that. I also know I did episodes before they changed them where we went around and we killed all the Treasures of Otagon Beastmen Kings, which have since been removed from the overworld and put into instanced battles, so that people making these weapons aren't inconvenienced by other people making these weapons. I know it's been a while. Also, as you can see, I'm still Galka. It wasn't just a prank, bro. I'd been thinking about it. Like I said, when I made the change, it was for a Link Shell member who's like the only Galka in our entire Link Shell, and he's also the best member of the Link Shell. He made a 6-box specifically so he could tower over us, but also so that he could give us lots of shit. Like, we can't complain at all, because he hit the Gil cap on 6 characters. And he just decided, fuck it, I need to get rid of Gil, and he just started buying every Link Shell member plus 2 necklaces for the level cap. And I don't know if I ever went over that, but my Warrior Beads necklace, I saved up and bought these for like 42 million Gil. And the price on them on any plus 2 necklace generally hovers like no less than 35 mil, and sometimes as high as like 60 mil. And now he's just given every Link Shell member of the Packets Link Shell, I think 2 necklaces now, in a pseudo lottery where he basically rolls a random dice, and if it comes up with your name, you get a plus 2 necklace, and then you're removed from the current lottery like roll. And yeah, so he's done 2 rolls, and my name's come up twice, so I now have a Samurai necklace and a Dark Knight necklace, and they're fully augmented because I've been running Dynamis Divergence twice a week with the Packet Slink Shell. It's been very amazing for gear progression, and they also pay me. They pay me to do Dynamis. I can't convey what that feels like, because back in the day, I never got paid to go fucking Dynamis. Like, back in the day, I was on Ashura, and when you did Dynamis in Dynamis Link Shell, it's like, you can lot whatever relic armor you have a job already leveled to 75 for. That's what you can do. And you pass all currency. You don't dare lot the currency. If any currency falls to you, give it to the Link Shell member, the sponsor. You don't get any currency unless you pitched in Gil for the Hourglass. And it's just like, well, can I pitch in Gil for the Hourglass? No, we have a sponsor, and he's funding his own relic weapon. He could just be buying it, but he's funding his own relic weapon, so he gets all the currency. It's like, okay, does he do all the work? No? Oh, okay. Like, couldn't we do this like he gets half the currency and then the Link Shell splits the other half or something? Like, yeah, I don't know. Because, after a while, you get all the relic armor that your jobs that you have leveled can use, or that you care about, because you don't even care about every piece, even back in the day. And you know, it just becomes you go to Dynamis because either you like Dynamis or your link shell has other events. And if you don't go to Dynamis, they won't let you lot on shit in other events. Like it was kind of like being held hostage if you like think about it too long. And I never thought about it too long because I was a kid, I was a teenager, and I was having fun. You know, like, oh, I'm just having fun. You know, I'm Dynamis, I'm doing the most damage, therefore I'm the tank, and you know, super fun. Kill all these bitches, you know, sort of thing. I did not want to engage. I'm on Blue Mage for a reason. Come on now. But yeah, for my Nizal Isles, it's always better to team up with people. If you team up with even just like 2 other people nowadays, you can easily climb anywhere from like 15 to sometimes as many as the most floors I've ever seen climbed in a single run. It was actually with 5 people. We climbed like, I think it was like 31 floors or something like that. You get a ridiculous amount of tokens. Like 1/10 of what you need for the Mythic. And I was able to do that a few times. And then this one dude in my link shell was like, how close are you? And I was like, oh, I still need like 40,000 tokens. He's like, let me go with you. I was like, okay. And he's like, goes in, he pays for the runic disc, and I'm thinking, you're like, okay, cool. And he's like, I'm okay if you just stay at the lamp. And I was just like, no, I'm not, you know, a fucking pole dancer. I'm not here to strip for you or anything. I'm gonna go out there and help you do the objective. He's like, okay. And this motherfucker's using that fucking program where you can fucking just like run at like triple flee speed, and also where you can cast while moving. And he would literally just like, I'd see his character run. And just basically like fucking go and like on a kill all floor, like the direction he ran, like everything would be dead by the time if I ran the other direction. And you know, I killed like a couple of monsters with subduction or whatever. He was already done. Like he was just like, oh, you know, hey, boom, done. And I like didn't like the fact that he was cheating, but at the same time, there's nothing I could do about it. Like he he was pretty forceful about it too. He was like, I don't know what you're talking about. You seem to be afflicted by gravity. You know. But what was also funny, it was like I still refused to sit at the pole. He had like 2 characters. And, I mean, it was a good thing I didn't refuse to set the pole, because sometimes we got order lamps, or we got, the register code. And, you know, he needed me to go actually touch the lamps, do stuff. And it's just a great reminder that no matter how much you cheat in Final Fantasy XI, it's the type of game where cheating, like, it only gets you so far. Like, yes, it gives you a distinct and clear advantage that you should not have. But anyone who's not cheating, they can only lag so far behind. And there was also lots of floors where it was like, kill, you know, specific enemy, where it's the one enemy that checks impossible to gauge. He like, wasn't checking, he was just running through and killing stuff. He'd missed it half the time, and I'd just be like, eh. And I'd kill it. So I didn't feel like I really got... I mean, I did get handed a whole bunch of progress. It was like 3 runs of like 12k tokens or something like that. But at the end of the day, it's just like, yeah, whatever. I want to be done with this, and I don't care. And like, again, I don't have any control over other people. And I heard that on Ashura, people are really brazen with the cheating these days. They don't even care, like in pug sortie groups and stuff. They literally just use the, the movement speed thing I just talked about, where you're moving at triple flee speed. They use it in sortie, and they just use it everywhere. And so like lots of people, when they come in and do this content, like they don't just have one cheater in the midst. They have 6 cheaters in the midst, and they all move at triple flea speed and run through walls and stuff. And I think I'm doing pretty good to not be in in that sort of way. I also don't understand how you could want to play like that, because once you started doing it, you know, it would become addictive, right? Like you would get used to the speed, and then anything that was below that speed, you know, it would feel like moving through molasses. Like for example, I emulate a lot of Fire Emblem games, and a lot of emulators have a speed up function or a turbo button you can hold down so that everything moves at double speed so that you can get through stuff faster, or, you know, like grind faster or do whatever you want faster. And once you get used to doing it, like, and you go into a setting where you're not allowed to do it, you know, like a race with a streamer or something, or with friends, where it's like, you know, you're trying to like speed run or whatever it is. You know, it feels terrible. Like you just want to press the turbo button, and you can't. And if you do, you get docked points. Where the fuck was the lamp? I don't know why I'm actually still climbing. Like I said, we could just leave, and we'll have enough tokens. I guess my idea was to show you how much better Blue Mage is at moving through Nizul, but I think at maximum. Well, we're not maximum level, we're master level 18, but you remember my Nizul videos if you watched the earlier episodes of the Let's Play, where I did a level 75 Red Mage climb of the entire Nizul Isle, you know, 5 floors at a time, lots of heartache from sometimes losing. A lot of it done off screen, at least for progress for tokens, but you know, like every boss floor section done on screen. And some of the raw climbing just done on screen too. And you know, it was difficult. It was like it was a real time crunch to even just get through 5 floors. And see, we're already on floor 4, and we still got like something like 21 minutes left in the instance climb. And realistically, when I solo in here, I'm able to climb about anywhere from about 10 to 16 floors by myself, depending on how many lamps I get and what kind of lamps they are, and how lost I get. I've started, the last few runs I've done, I've really started to zone out a lot, forget the layout, because the floor layout's randomized, you know, and I'll forget where the, like last floor, I'll forget where the rune of transfer is to go up to the next floor. And that'll waste me a lot of time, like several minutes. But yeah, I'd actually, when I do my solo runs for real, like to actually make tokens, I've been doing floor 36 as the start point, where you pay 800 tokens. But then with the amount of floors I can climb, I usually climb to floor 50, or floor, like, on average I make floor 50. On a good run I make like floor 52, and on a bad run I make like floor 47. And it ranges from giving like 4,300 tokens to like 5,500 tokens. So, you know, the actual take home is like 35 to 40, 600 tokens. And so it's not fantastic, but it's not terrible. I love when it's same time. Same time has actually come to be my favorite lamps. So back in the day, people used to think that you needed to station a person at each lamp and press them. And it wasn't quite true. There's actually like a couple of minutes from the time you click the first lamp to when you click all the other lamps. It's like 2 minutes almost solid. And so you don't actually have to hit them at the exact same time. But back in the day, movement speed was a lot slower. I'm pretty sure I talked about this like way earlier in the Let's Play, you know, like 3 years ago. And yes, the Let's Play's been going that long. You couldn't run as fast or as far in the same amount of time. And so, and plus a lot of the enemies were a lot more dangerous at level 75. So, same time lamps, it was just a, it was more like a function of the way the game actually worked originally, where people would want to expressly have one person at each lamp to press them at the same time. But yeah, there was tons of times back in the day where you'd have 2 of the same time lamps near one another, and you'd have your one person stationed at the Runo Transfer to take you to the next floor, and you have your 5 other people, and there could be as many as 5 same time lamps, and occasionally somebody would have to like AFK or they would disconnect, and so you couldn't station everybody at a lamp. But some of the lamps would be close enough that it was just like, hey, I'll press both lamps and it'll be okay. And so same time has never been very problematic. But most people love the code lamp, the registration code, where everyone just has to touch the one lamp. It's usually pretty far from the Runo Transfer though, so that's another one where you currently possess 151,087 tokens. Okay, so we don't buy the thing we need from Sorrowful Sage. He doesn't actually sell us anything we care about. He only sells temporary items or whatever for Nizal. We want to talk to this guy, Zashal. He's the guy who normally gives you remnants permits for salvage, but we want to get the Wormseeker Arrowhat. That's my favorite remnants romper. After a copy of Wormseeker Arrowhat, are you? Truth be told, I already had me hands on one before I ever heard you were looking. Sometimes I swear I'm blessed with the gift of foresight. I would have said something to you sooner, but it just seemed a bit uncouth of me to be rubbing your nose in it by pointing it out. Wormseeker Arrowhat, a full-color transcription of the famous Near Eastern literary classic, tells the story of a bold young swordswoman and her adventures while seeking out the worms of Vanadiel. So let's get down to brass tacks. You looking to trade your tokens for this here copy of Wormseeker Arrowhat? Make sure you know what you're getting into here, alright? No refunds from me, you hear? Don't make me say it again. Give me that damn book. Deal, that settles it then. There are tokens for this here copy of Wormseeker Arrowhat. No turning back now. Obtained Wormseeker of Arrowhat. Dum -bum -bum -bum. We're the best. And interestingly, you can send that between characters, so we could send that to a mule if we wanted to. I guess it also theoretically means if I want to make another Mythic and one of my other characters is closer to 150,000 tokens, that I would just run Nizal on them and then send it across my delivery box. That's actually kind of wild to think about. Like, since they mark stuff now that like you can just see that you can send it to your other characters, like your mules that are on the same account. Like, that's a big deal, in my opinion. Let's see, we want to go to Nash Mao now. But yeah, the other reason I couldn't be mad at that filthy cheater that helped me get about 36,000 tokens, after the Nizal runs, he was just like, how much Alexandrite do you have left? And I was just like, oh, you know, about 5,000. I was just waiting until I finished tokens to buy it myself. You know, I've got like 50 million gil. I'll be able to finish it off. And he was just like, come to Nashmau. And the motherfucker just started trading me Alexandrite stack after Alexandrite stack, and I was just like, what the fuck, bro? Like, I didn't, like, I shouldn't accept this. And he was just like, just take it. I need to clear my inventory. And I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But that's current day 11. So I believe we give the Wormseeker of Arahat to Paparoon here. Ooh, this definitely be the nice, pretty story Empress talks about, yes? Look at all these nice, pretty pictures inside. Looks like such a pretty story. How you find the Arahat, I don't know, but good job. Empress going to be so happy. Such a nice, pretty storybook. Me hears it's a romantic story, but Paparoon not too bright. I doesn't know how to read so well, but I sure do like pictures. Okay, and so now we literally just need exactly 16 more Alexandrites. I purposely did not finish the Alexandrite step when given the 5,000 Alexandrite because I wanted to be able to record it. I've been wanting to record this episode for a gajillion years, but mythics are so expensive and time consuming. Woo! Look at these shinies. Ooh, this does Paparoon good. You awful good at finding the shinies. You found all the shinies the Empress need. How you do that? Dun 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 dun. Okay, so now what? You've done all 3 jobs Empress asked for. Paparoon very impressed. Empress going to be very pleased to hear this. She had good feeling about you, Calmwind. Paparoon a little bit shocked. You really do good job. The Empire wants to thank you for your hard work. Here then, this for you. Yes? It's special shiny invitation from Honorary Officer Paparoon. That's me. You take that and head to Big Gate in town, yes? You need to talk to guard there. Maybe you might even get another chance to meet Empress. This really high priority mission. Paparoon not surprised if she already waiting for you. Man, the Empress is gonna be fucking blown the fuck out that I'm a Galka now. Nah, she's probably not gonna react at fucking all, because nothing's gonna look that way. But, you know, whatever. It's kind of wild. Now, I don't know if we'll actually get the Mythic weapon done in a single episode today, because we still have to do Zenny Notorious monsters. And I did farm a bunch of Zenny off camera, and I know for a fact I showed off Zenny farming before, way earlier in the Let's Play, where you take like the Soul Trapper camera from the Pancratian Coliseum and you take pictures of monsters. So I don't think I need to show that again. But if you're curious about it and you want to see it, either go back through the playlist and find it, or, you know, just comment below and be like, hey, motherfucker, show me the thing. Let's see. No, we need key items. I want to see where that note winds up. I assume. Do I have a fucking full ooh? Oh no, I'm just missing Q. Okay. We've already got several seals for Z and M, so we might be okay. Here it is. A formal letter composed in a regal hand. Oh dear. Ow. Choking on my own spit. Disgusting. You've turned into a disgusting Let's Play. Oh, God. Okay. Sorry about that. My body is getting old, and I am starting to just feel like I'm gonna die. A formal letter composed in a regal hand and bearing the imperial seal of the serpent. It bears a signature in the written and the exotic Kikern language. That's a bit of a typo there. They've got in the twice, and they don't need it twice. Thus proving that even old Final Fantasy XI had crazy typos from the localization. Calm Wind, so nice of you to come. I must say, you have truly outdone yourself this time. We simply could not be more pleased, and as such, we wish to present you with a token of our appreciation. Master of Ceremonies, if you would. Yes, your majesty. It's playing Black Coffin. Calm Wind, in accordance with the will of Her Highness, the Empire wishes to bestow upon you this gift in recognition of your services. You continue to honor us all with your allegiance. Obtained an Imperial Gold piece. Are you Oh, that's fucking hilarious. Oh God, that's fucking hilarious. Imagine if the cutscene just ended right there. Ah, damn. What's this? Less than pleased with your reward, are you? As well you should be, having gone through such an ordeal of such magnitude. Greetings, Calmwind. It has been too long since we last met. Yet despite this ceremony, I think we both know that this marks the end of nothing. All are restricted from direct audience with Her Highness. You mustn't... Nonsense. Even Calm Wind here has been summoned and stands in her presence as we speak. There is, after all, little of Nashmira that has not already been made known to us. Words are hard. And surely you don't intend to choose now of all times to mire us all in the observation of formalities. Surely his presence here alone is evidence of his having proven himself as a hero of the Empire. Not even the Empress's great uncle Zeraphil in the eastern realm of Sajatra could voice his opposition under such circumstances. Perhaps. Very well. Then, let us proceed on to more urgent matters. Surely you still recall the weapon which you entrusted to the safekeeping of one Naja Salahim? The same instrument which you extracted from the ruined depths of Nizul Isle. That weapon was none other than one of the fabled vigil weapons, fashioned to be vessels of a great protective force. The vigil weapons were kept within the Imperial Treasury, placed in lush ceremony atop their sealed counterparts, the Mythic weapons. In this state, the polar natures of the weapons achieved a perfect balance, and were thus able to be contained. The Mythic weapons are an unparalleled collection of arms amassed by the hero of our empire, the mighty Balron, as he journeyed in the four directions, felling fierce and countless opponents, and brought his greatness to bear upon Vana'diel. These are the true treasures of Aht-Urgon. In addition to the miraculous properties attributed to them, the weapons were also objects of undying affection for Balron. It was not long before his obsession with them had grown to maniacal heights, and he continued to seek out new additions for his collection tirelessly. Of course, the natures of the weapons were simply too vast to be harnessed and treated as mere museum pieces. Therefore, he commissioned his Master of Ceremonies to see to the creation of the vigil weapons in a desperate attempt to diminish the raw power of the mythic weapons so that they might be tamed. Since then, it has been the charge of the Master of Ceremonies to oversee the safekeeping of the mythic weapons, but... Oh, hey, Raban showed up. We kicked your ass, Raban! You're a little bitch! I mean, following the theft of the vigil weapons from the Imperial Treasury, the power of the mythic weapons began to grow unchecked. Even now, should the vigil weapons be returned, I fear it is too late to reharness what has been unleashed. And so we are left with one recourse. Only by finding one with the virtue and strength of our great Balron to bend the spirit of the mythic weapons to their will, may we return them to their peaceful slumber deep in the undisturbed corners of the Imperial coffers. It was to this end that we sought to employ your services, Calmwind. We were warned by Her Majesty's great uncle Zeraphil that the dangers of entrusting the fate of these weapons to one not born of the Empire was an unwise risk fraught with dangers. But we were unwavered in our confidence in you, and so to sway Zeraphil, we set to you these most heroic of tasks, all of which you have accomplished. We beg your indulgence and your forgiveness, Calmwind, but please try to understand the desperate position into which we were thrust. And yet, I'm afraid we have still more to ask of you. We would like to place the mythic weapon, Kogara Sumaru, in your care, Calmwind. Your efforts have led us to believe that you may indeed be able to resist the overwhelming temptation of the power this weapon contains. A task for none other than the true guardian of the Empire. Thank you, Calmwind. Thank you. Behold, this is Kogara Sumaru, and it is now yours by right and rule. Do be careful, Calmwind. I do not doubt in the power of your will, but should you succumb in even the slightest to the allure of that weapon... So it is done. The Empress must now see to informing Zeraphil of what has transpired here today. We beg your pardon. Until we meet again then, Calmwind. Dun, 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 dun. The weapon... is it speaking? Hear me, Calmwind. I am to be remade. Your burden is a great one, yet I shall bear the load for you. If my powers you desire, you need not but feed me. Tenen's fang, Saramea's hide, tiger's tail. I hunger. Seek out the place of the dead in the hallowed grounds of Cadavermire. Do this thing, and greatness shall I bring to thy name and hand. So this is where the ZNMs come into play. Look. Raban, what is it? What's wrong? I don't know. My body has been exposed to toxins potent enough to fell even Marids, and yet now I know not what it is that plagues me. Calmwind. Obtain Imperial Gold Piece. Obtain Kogara Sumaru. So we now have hold of the Samurai Mythic Weapon. But as you can see, it has no stats. It just has 81 base damage as a level 75 Great Katana, which for the day was actually fairly high for a Great Katana. I only say fairly high because there were several other Great Katanas that actually had stats that you could already have obtained, like the Onimaru and the Ushikiri Maru from Sky. I think both of those had slightly higher or the same, around 80 base damage. But yeah, Kogara Sumaru was actually originally a pretty high base damage Great Katana. But that's actually gonna change. Relative to today's standards, even the I-119 version is rather low base damage wise. But yeah, since we're kind of done with all that, we can just hop on Samurai here and, you know, do the rest of our stuff on Samurai. And I actually have one shortcut for the ZNMs, because we don't actually need to kill them all currently. We just need to get to the end of the line where we can fight Tiger, Tenon, and Saramea. And in order to do that, well, you can actually get their hides items and stuff like that from the Goblin Daily Box. And one of my mules actually has a Saramea's hide already. So that's 1/3 of the work done. So what we want to focus on now is actually just going out and doing the other ZNMs. And I'll have to check to see what seals I have, which ones I was working towards doing. Now basically they're poppable, spawnable versions of the Treasures of Aragon highly notorious monsters like the Chimera and the Hydra and the Cerberus. Which I don't know if I ever got to show off any of those. I just can't remember. I think I showed at least one. And you saw them in Nigel Isle as well. Anyway, so you have seen what they look like if you've been watching the Let's Play. And again, if you haven't, just go back to... just go back and watch it. That's right, I'm giving you homework, motherfucker. Dear viewer. Also, the kind of funny thing about Mythic weapons is when they first came out, they were regarded to be too hard to make by the player base, because 30,000 Alexandrite at the time was super steep. The only place to get it from was an event called Salvage, and you were lucky if you got even like 150 Alexandrites per run, and you could originally only run Salvage every 3 days. And somebody calculated it out at the time and said, you know, given current prices, current entry, current success rates... Oh god, excuse me, I'm sorry for burping. You know, given all that, it'll take 34 years to make a Mythic weapon. And of course, you know, people were like, nah, it won't take that long. And teamed up and did ridiculous shit, bought Gil, and some of the very first relic weapons actually started to be completed around 2009. That's also the same year that the infamous salvage bans went into effect. And well, that's an interesting. Like, the edge of the blade is double bladed. Like, the back goes into a more of a cut phase there. Interesting. No, we don't technically need to wield it right now. This is the Aeonic Great Katana, by the way. I've gotten several more Aeonic clears, and it's just been a real good time. Let's see, we're just gonna edit this real quick and put in some samurai gear or something. I mean, we already got samurai pants in this set. Let's see. Let's just put in the Impaka's stuff, hands at least. I'll keep the warrior feet. I like how the boots look too much. Okay, cool. We look cool now. Let's get a move on. Let's go do some ZNMs. I need to pull up the ZNM chart. See which path I was doing and which seals I already have. There's a real handy chart on the BG Wiki in graphical format that just shows you what you need. let's see. Key items, temporary key items. So we've got an apple green seal. That's the seal for spawning the armed gears or Gotoza the redolent. Let's see. We've got a copper colored seal that comes from Achamoth. That's for the Saramea path. We don't need to worry about that. We've got a pine green seal, which... what's that from? Yoo-hoo, pine green. Okay, that's from... so we can spawn one of the tier 2s that will lead to Tiger. And the thing is, what we're going to have to do, we have to go through the ZNM, each path, ZNM path 3 times. So we have to do some things, but it looks like basically the apple green and the amber seal, or no, the pine green and the amber seal. It looks like we'll be able to do 2 of the Tiger Path NMs really quickly, so we'll only have to go through that one once, and then we don't need to worry about the Saramea path at all because I've got that on a mule. And I can just mule really quick to grab it. And then for the other path, looks like we'll be able to spawn one of those monsters really quickly with apple green. But then we'll have to go back through it twice more. And that'll be pretty cool. I'm surprised we don't have the other seals though. I could have sworn that I did a couple of these ZNMs when I was still 75 locked with trusts for specific weapons and gear, and style locks. The copper color seal is proof of that, and then also I've got a style lock for the sword in I think my storage. No, that's the Iron Wall version. Let's see. Well, I've got the organic sword somewhere. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, this comes from Achamoth. And, yeah, that's the whole thing. Anyway, this is the ZNM guy, in case you forgot. And those shots are going kind of crazy. But let's see. So we should be able to... oh yeah, okay, so see, we can grab any of these. And any of these. Like, these are the... let's see, what should we try to focus on getting? Because he's going to give us the pop items. Are these all in Arapago Reef? Let's do this guy. He's a Soul Flayer. Oh, 3,000 Zenny. Oh god, how will I ever recover? Okay. That's one. And now we want to grab... let's just grab... Dia. He's pretty simple. He's the Wyver out in Bathlow Thickets. Okay. And then... we want to go ahead and grab... let's see. I think we can grab... the nice thing about the tier 1s and tier 2s is it doesn't matter which one we grab, because we can just we just kill them. We just go kill them. And they always yield the same color seal. It's not till the tier 3s. Like, the reason you have to do each path 3 times is because the tier 3s each have an individual seal. So, it's like one of those things. But it could be worse. Let's see. Going to grab
I think these are all tier 1s now, yep. So we want to just grab... these guys, and it'll be perfectly okay. Cool beans. We had just enough inventory. Plenty of inventory, actually. Cool beans. I always like the ZNM pop items. You'll also often find that you get the ZNM pop items straight out of the Goblin mini box, daily box. There's been several times when I've been given ZNM items. Now, the other thing that can be frustrating about this is that when you go to fight Tinin, Tiger, and Saramea, at least originally, I don't know if it's still the same. I assume it's still the same. They didn't have a 100% chance to drop their mythic related item, their hide tail thing, and so you actually have to do the whole ZNM path multiple times. It's pretty annoying. Let's see. It said Dia spawns at F7? Okay, so he's like way up in the corner there. I don't feel like dealing with a bunch of aggro. I'd love to hear Jewels Beneath the Boughs or whatever, but I also just don't want to fucking deal. You know how much I hate the mount music, dear viewer. Yeah, I think what we do basically, it's just what the Mythic weapon told us to do. We get these 3 ZNM items, and then we go to the graveyard beside Nashmao. And I think there's a special headstone that we trade them all to, along with the Mythic weapon. And I think at that point, we either get a key item, or we get drawn directly into the Azadale Undersea Ruins, and we have to like fight the spirit of Balron. And basically it acts as a mini battle where you learn how to make use of the new Aftermath system that they came out with Mythic weapons. You see, the Relic Aftermaths that had been around before Mythic weapons were all unique, and they did a unique buff to the person, and it was usually some sort of, you know, survival based buff or a unique effect that wasn't always useful for raw damage purposes. Mythic weapons are more streamlined, and also were the first weapons to introduce different Aftermath tiers based on the amount of TP you have when you execute the weapon skill. And so you get this mini fight with Balron's Spirit to basically learn the Aftermaths. I've read about it before, at least half a dozen times, just out of curiosity. Basically, he makes you do Aftermath level 1 at 100 TP, or, well, nowadays 1,000. And then level 2 at 2,000, level 3 at 3,000. The battle will not end until you get all 3 of the Aftermaths going. I don't know if it's possible to lose. I don't know if you lose, you just get to retry it, or if you have to recollect the ZNM items or anything. I never read that far. Never knew that much about it. Do know that, like, once you trigger all the Aftermaths, it's perfectly fine. Also, there's like a Hydra you have to kill at some point during the fight or something. I don't know what that's all about, but okay. So the old Syrian cactus paddle. Apparently, wyvers like to eat cacti. Or this wyver does. This wyver's also about to die. Except I whiffed my Fudo. At least it was only a whiff, though. It wasn't a complete miss. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. Swing. Hey, that's actually good drops. The horn is needed for to turn back into Sanraku for the seal, so don't drop that. Taken from the nasal protrusion of the massive wyvern Dia, this imposing horn is perfectly adapted for impaling unwary targets. Well, we were very wary, and we... and we killed the shit out of that wyver... Wary-varier. Yeah, the Enkidu's Subligar. This is a really good piece back in the day for all the jobs that could wear it. At least for weapon skilling. The store TP and subtle blow on it. It's kind of like a, you know, you're supposed to be able to, I guess the idea of the set was you full-time set. Like, Square, so back in the day, right, apparently Square did not intend for you to swap gear in the middle of combat. They made sets with weird, different stats on them. And, you know, not a lot of gear actually had stats on it in the first place until basically the late Chains of Promathia, or mid-late Chains of Promathia era, and they figured out that players like stats. But a lot of gear in the game, you know, just has raw defense or raw attack power, maybe a little bit of accuracy, maybe a little bit of stats. And they just kind of intended for you to, you know, stack towards one stat and kind of make that your identity for your gear, and like never swap your gear. But they never put a limitation on swapping the gear, and so players, of course, being smart, made macros to swap gear. And back in the day, you didn't have these gear sets, and so you could only swap 6 pieces of gear per macro. So you would actually need 2 macros to do basically a full body swap. But because the ammo slot also changed a lot, you actually need 3 macros to do a total swap. But more than 1 or 2 macros is actually pushing it, but both from a time perspective, but also just like, you know, difficult. And that's why people with the Windowware started to make the gear swap stuff where you could swap all your gear at once with a single macro. And it led to years of people, especially very early on, saying that swapping your gear was a sweaty tryhard move. And then it also led to people who used regular macros saying, so we gotta go to D10 and G7. Okay, so we'll go to G7 first. The people with the regular macros would say, you know, I was one of them. I'd be like, hey, you know, you're not showing any more skill than anyone who's using traditional macros because they have extra delay that they always have to deal with if they need to swap more gear for a certain set. They have to think about how to arrange their macros, you know, like with their input type, whether they're using keyboard or controller. And like, especially if they're using controller, you know, they have to D-pad through their macros almost like another menu. So, you know, it's not really, you're not really showing, it says Rajo Moldlands G7, is that right? Oh, okay, it's, and they add Dwea Subterrane, I don't remember it being there. Defek? Did they change where Chigger spawns? Or Chigre, said by, oh, there must be a besieged about to happen. Or is it actually happening right now? No, they're still advancing. Okay, but they're almost there. They're basically there. We could go do Besieged. They actually kicked Besieged up so that it's now its highest level is 11, I think. And they increased the strength of the monsters to be more commiserate with item level. But if you're as far along as I am, you still tower over almost everything in Besieged, so they still end pretty quickly. But you also now get an additional currency. In addition to Imperial Standing, you get Imperial Accolades. And they're currently used to buy some really shitty Besieged weapons and some interesting medication. There's like a Sneak Deodorize Invisible item. And then there's also a Re-Raise 3 scroll. None of it's worth it. Like, I'm just, if you're you want to save your accolades up. You only get like 300 accolades per Besieged as well, so it's kind of something you wanna care about a little bit. Let's see. Let's put on our regen here. Oh yeah. Also, fun fact. I've been doing Odyssey, and I wasn't getting very many clears or anything done. I was getting RP. I got all my Vengeance, like base level Vengeance 1, Vengeance 5 clears done for everything in Odyssey. So I got access to all the gear, all the Odyssey gear. But and that's an in-game activity that I don't think I've really shown off. Let's see, where's Chiger at? He's at E8 of map 2. Okay, so he's over near that pond. Why do I not remember him being in here? I could have sworn he was actually out in like Bathlow thickets originally, but maybe my memory is just too Swiss cheese now. Oh yeah, what was I talking about? Welcome to ADHD, the Let's Play. Something. Dick bitches. No, oh, this is really frustrating. I had such a good train of thought going. There's so much momentum, and then I just said I couldn't remember, and now I can't remember. I couldn't remember something completely unrelated to what I was talking about, and now I can't remember what I was talking about. I must be vulnerable to suggestion. Was I talking about Besieged? I was talking about Besieged, Imperial Accolades. Okay. Ground is smeared with bloodstains. I'm gonna have to go look this up later to see if Chiger actually always spawned here. Hi, Chiger. Bye, Chiger. And you get him directly as a drop. The rarest member of the Chigo family. Cool beans. You know what? We're closing in on an hour. I'll probably push this one out to an hour and a half just because it's been so long. But I do kind of want to go do that Besieged. I can show you modern day Besieged if I make it in time. Of course, sometimes when they're advancing it takes like half an hour. And they give you a key item nowadays after you progress Rhapsodies far enough. Or maybe it was TVR. Either way, at some point, Ottergon gives you a key item that gives you a warning when a Besieged has started, no matter where you are in the game world. And it's pretty useful if you weren't keeping track. But most of the time what winds up happening is you're like in the middle of an event like Swordy or something, and you know, the notification comes through and it's just like, oh, I'd love to go defend Alzabi, but I can't leave Swordy for another 45 minutes. Yeah. Sorry if the sound of drinking is upsetting to you. I just had to finish my coffee off before it got ice cold. I don't really like cold coffee, but my brain definitely needs the caffeine. I really need to just stop caring about carry a ring. I love it for the regain effect because I get to have a lot of regain no matter what my job is, and as I walk around I build TP, but I'm really starting to like get annoyed by not having 18% movement speed, because I have 18% movement speed ring on my they're still advancing, man. I'm trying to think if I ever showed off a Besieged earlier in the Let's Play. I'm pretty sure I did at least once. It's relatively the same, it's just we would be able to actually do... We'd actually be able to kill stuff now. Meh. We'll come back. I'm not gonna sit here and wait while I'm already over an hour. We're gonna go kill Verdalit. And then probably Magolf the Paintorn. And at that point, I'll bet the Besiege will have started. But you gotta be quick once they start, because like I said, even though they made it commiserate with item level, the players' power is just too high. Players are way too strong. They don't have... Whoever they've got working on 11 nowadays doesn't know what level of challenge to put in. And they also don't know what... Oh, wait. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'll just eat a Gyudon for weapon skill damage. We don't really need anything else. Yeah, they don't really know... I mean, one thing they got right is the effort to reward ratio. Like, the new Besieged, it doesn't get you anything even though you get accolades. Like, no one cares about anything that comes from accolades. Like, some people are really hot for the re-raise 3 scroll, and some people are really hot for the sneak invisible deodorize item. But they, in my opinion, they just cost too much accolades for what they do, since you can already get sneak and invisible from prism powders and silent oils, and you can already get re-raise 3 from super re-raisers. There's no point in spending accolades on that, so what you really want to do is just hoard your accolades until they add something. Like, you gotta be, like, part of playing 11 is being patient and playing the long con, like playing the long term, you know, like sometimes it really behooves you to be a hoarder and just wait and like sit on stuff, sit on items, sit on gil, sit on stuff that you have that, you know, could take a long time to earn, because they'll eventually come out with something where it's just like, hey, remember all those accolades that you've been fruitlessly spending on stuff that, you know, doesn't, that has redundant effects to other things you could have been getting? Yeah, now we're releasing this super weapon or this super armor that costs like 30,000 accolades. I hope you've been saving your accolades up, you know. And then the people who hoarded the whole time, they just get the stuff instantly and are just like, haha, I'm the best for a while. And then the people who didn't hoard curse the game, half of them quit, and the other half say, I will never miss a Besieged ever again, you know, like that sort of thing. Kerfurler the Menacing! They recently reused his model in Final Fantasy XIV as the last of the original trolls. Although in 14 they called them giants. Which annoys me because to me they are trolls. Now, even though we were just given temporary... Oh wait, we had to watch the cutscene, so we're good. When you enter after the cutscene for the the siege beginning has ended, then you have to wait for all your items to load in, and temporary items are the last to load in, so you can't use any of the stuff. But I better not be disconnecting. Nowadays, you want to get to the front line as quickly as possible, because this thing will be over within like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, depending on how many people are actually here to fight it. Oh, look at that hot element. Oh, Phoebe. Feve. Oh, your booty. Oh. Yeah, I'm still a perv. Yeah, I still think elf females are the most hot. If that creeps you out, I've done my job. Okay. That's pretty annoying, because they can just, like, walk through the doors. And some of these guys, I don't know exactly, like, they become invulnerable to damage at certain times, and the lag being the way it is, it just becomes way too hard to see what they're doing or how that works. But we'll be okay. The siege has always been like this, by the way. Never been able to fully see what's going on. You've always been lagging out the ass. It's all great. Look at that. We took a control down and like 2 weapon skills. Bada bing, bada boom. And even though the big troll boss was shown in the cutscene, he's not going to come out until like we've killed like half of the regular Notorious Monster versions. So we gotta get cracking here. And you really do want to use your temp items up, because they'll give you a whole new list of temp items, replacing every single temp item you had. Just like bada bing, bada boom. So you don't want to sit on them. Also, I gotta see the Sam 2-hour Mako's Shisu, the original one. It kind of sucks nowadays. Like, it's not terrible, because you get 3 weapon skills instantly, but the entire time it's active, you can't actually build TP with your auto attacks. So it's only really good for very, very short fights, or very, like, I need weapon skill right now. It's not what it was once before. However, the second Samurai 2-hour, the Yagasumi, it's really fucking good. It makes you unable to be hit with anything that's categorized as a TP move from a monster. Anything that they ready with those red lines, you will dodge it, or it will do 0 damage to you. And this includes things that are magical damage; they'll just have no effect. And every time that you're hit with one, or every time one is activated on you, what will actually happen is you'll gain like 600 TP. And every weapon skill you activate of your own during Yagasumi with the job gifts, once you're Mastered Samurai like I am, you get a huge TP bonus, and weapon skill damage bonus on your weapon skills. So there's a lot of enemies where their regular quote-unquote auto attacks are actually counted as TP moves. And when you fight one of those with Yagasumi active and it's hitting you, every single time it hits you, you get 600 TP. And the damage of your weapon skills goes up. And so, while Yagasumi's active against any of those bosses, or any of those monsters, you become like a super god, and it's awesome. Also, you might be wondering why I didn't summon trusts. You can't use trusts in Siege. You either have to team up with regular players or just man mode it with what the good Lord gave you. Also, something I figured out recently, apparently Singularity, which increases your skill chain and magic burst damage if you're the closer of a weapon skill chain, and Hagakure that gives save TP and a TP bonus to your next weapon skill, they don't stack for some reason. Even though they have entirely different effects, they don't stack. Square Enix was like, oh hey, those should overwrite one another because they'd be too powerful if paired. And it's just like, it doesn't, in the current game setting, it doesn't make any sense. It's just kind of like, why? Why'd you do that, Square Enix? I hate you. Oh, that was a super whiffed show, huh? Let's do Yagasumi just because we can. Oh hey look, there's Gerfler, the Troll Mac Daddy. Yeah, my samurai is still so much weaker than my warrior. My samurai is only master level 22. My warrior these days is master level 43. And still my favorite job to play. I have a soft spot for samurai though, which is something I thought I would never say. You would not catch me in 2000 and from like 2005 to 2012. All I would say about samurai is overrated, not as powerful as people say it is, and most samurais don't know actually how to play the job. They're just playing it because it has a katana and they think it looks cool. And that's me with a max level samurai myself, and being like, nah, this job is overrated. Now I have a soft spot for it. Because, like, I don't think it's overrated anymore. There's just not a lot of people... I mean, a lot of people still have it maximum level. A lot of people still play it. A lot of people still love it in all the situations where it's applicable. People still say some weird overblown shit about it, like people will say a good samurai will always top the parse. People will say stuff like samurai is the best polearm user in the game because they have such a high weapon skill frequency compared to dragoon, you know, or warrior. So they'll say all this weird, ridiculous shit, and it's just a lot of it is just not true. Like, warrior is better with the polearm. Dragoon with the prime polearm is better with the polearm. Dragoon with the shining one, honestly, will do more damage than a samurai under max buffs. If they're both using polearm. Like, something that is true about samurai in modern day, though, is just a lot of people don't know how to use skill chains with it. A lot of people don't know how to maximize Great Katana. The hybrid weapon skills are underutilized because at some point people decided that because they suffer in like several different stages of high-end content, like the shield jails, that they're not worth doing or whatever. But there's plenty of in-game content, like the Dynamis Divergence Wave 3 boss, where they shine, like where they're like ridiculously powerful, like that. And you know, like it's still one of the strongest jobs in the game for dealing physical damage and skill chain damage. But it's just, it doesn't have the same amount of love that people used to give it. Like I would say in the modern 11, there are more warriors and more people hyping up warrior than there were people hyping up samurai back in like 2006. It's like it's inverted times for me. Back in 2006, I was like the only warrior amongst a sea of samurais. Now in 2025, I'm like a warrior in a sea of warriors. And when I'm on samurai, I'm a samurai in a sea of warriors. And oh, that poor guy. He got pimp smacked. We almost got pimp smacked, but we used our temp items. Of course, it might be a little bit of confirmation bias on my part, like the shield jail, for instance, is really friendly to warrior because warrior uses multiple different weapon types. It can be useful on like half, like 3/4, maybe half, or like there's. Now I'm just gonna say half. Like half of the shield jail bosses, warrior's useful on, where samurai is only useful on like a handful of them. Like maybe like a third. You just don't see it in a lot of strategies anymore. And its exceptional weapon skill frequency is much diminished compared to what it used to be. Like, and I say that not to say that samurai gets TP slower than other jobs, but like, for instance, warrior gets 100% double attack rate and similar levels of store TP or TP per swing. So like, warrior can actually get, in a battle setting, warrior can get TP faster than a samurai. Dancers, nowadays, dancers can generate TP faster without even being engaged, faster than a samurai, faster than a warrior. Fucking... every job has massive store TP, massive multi-attack sets that just let them self-skill chain when they have maximum delay reduction. And so that's something that's no longer unique to samurai. It's also another reason its 2-hour Meiko Shisui has kind of, is not very impressive nowadays. Like, when you can already just do 3 weapon skills back to back without using a 2-hour ability, why would that 2-hour matter? You have to look for the specific situations in which it will matter at all. And then, it doesn't really have some of its niche stuff that was really good about it in the older days. Like, samurai actually has the second highest archery of any job in the game. It has a C+ in archery, and so it's also on the relic bow from back in the day, the Yoichi no Yumi. It's a long red bow with 303 base damage, and when you get it at R15, it actually has more base damage than almost every great katana in the game. And then when you factor in the arrow damage, it does have more base damage than every great katana in the game. But that's its only real strong ranged option, and it's not really that great. So like, it used to be back in the day, you actually could use a samurai in place of like a ranger for a ranged fight. Nowadays, that's not really an option, or at least people say it's not. Just like there's just several layers of things that like samurai was good at, and it was definitely good, very pleasing to be a samurai, and just a lot of that stuff just doesn't matter anymore. So it's kind of one of those jobs that's like, it's not bad by any means. It's actually very strong, very potent, especially with the right buffs, especially when you're using, playing into its strengths. It's a little bit underrated. It doesn't have access to nagling, so it doesn't fall into that meta at all. It doesn't have it doesn't have any buffs for the party. It doesn't. Its tanking skills, Sagan Third Eye, while still very good for like one-on-one targets like Falmers and Dynamics Divergence Wave 3, it's not consistent enough. It doesn't keep up with the attack rate that monsters have nowadays. It doesn't stop any hits from like the big monsters that like you would stop with the Yagasumi. It's just kind of one of those jobs that's like all of its edges and advantages have sort of been worn down with time. Also, I forgot that I turned the weather effects off. It's bothering me because I can't see the clouds. There we go. Okay. I turned them off because I thought I was having this crazy lag the other day. And I was like looking for every conceivable way that I could cut down on this lag, because I'd have it occasionally every now and then. I thought it was literally just, the game being old and janky and lagging out. And so, but over the last couple of weeks, it became really intolerable. Like, it was happening so frequently and so much, I could barely play. Like, going into a menu and trying to execute a weapon skill, or like trying to tad target something and do anything, like it was like my inputs weren't going through. So once I had eliminated all the connection issues and things, I was like, maybe it's a hardware issue. I started looking into my hardware. It's like, is my USB cord that goes into my controller, is it good? So I replaced it. Well, that wasn't the problem. Looking up more stuff, it's just like, read this weird thing that says, oh hey, if you're a controller player and you're using a PS4 controller and you're using a later type PS4 controller, the drivers for it never fully align with like Windows 10 or 11 or whatever, and something weird in 11 spaghetti code causes it to desync a lot. So even if you're wired in, you'll get input lag. And I was just like, is this it? And it's just like, try switching to an Xbox controller or a PS5 controller. And I was like, okay, that sounds weird. Switch to a more advanced controller for an old game and it'll work better. But like, I never had problems with the PS4 controller like, 3 years ago when I started this Let's Play. Like, it wasn't that much of a problem, right? Like, I think every now and then I might have had an issue, but again, it never seemed like it was hardware. Well, I went ahead and tried the PS5 controller, and lo and behold, that was the fucking issue. And it has been so smooth ever since then. Like, I've been in heaven as far as, like input lag and things like that go. Get Hagakure, bitch. Yeah. Swing. We're the best around. No one's ever gonna get us down. Okay, let's see. So, I found out that either my memory was bad or they changed where Chimera spawns. I don't know if I did that in an older video, if I showed it off, or if I just talked about it. But basically, Chimera used to spawn over near that pond where we just spawned that ZNM, as far as my memory remembers. But nowadays, it spawns over here. And it's not up right now. But apparently this is where it spawns. And I don't know, maybe my memory is just absolute dog shit. But I remember it spawning over near the pond. But sneezed. I hope you didn't hear it. I think I got the mic away in time. Really annoying. Okay, so we used that already. We can still get out of here with the dimensional ring, though. It's not quite as ideal. By the way, the Limbus thing, it gives us +4 artifact, +4 relic. We've got a few pieces of that now. You actually upgrade the +4 relics in the other Limbus zone, Timonos, which I didn't show off. And I tried making a recording the other day to show it off, but I wound up whining about my life again instead of talking about the game. Because the content is so simplistic. So I didn't wind up uploading it. Now let me know if you want to see that. But this episode and like the next episode are going to be Mythic Weapon. And I don't know what I'm going to try to do after that. I've been thinking about trying to get the Let's Play going again to get it to more of a resolved point. To just so I can feel like I can let it go. It just never got to that point really. Like if I wanted to end it, I should have ended it literally after like on the episode that I got the Voracious Resurgence ring. I should have just been like, that's the story for Final Fantasy 11. It's over now. You know, thanks for watching. I'm moving on to another game. But me, my stupid ass, I wanted to keep showing stuff in 11 off because there's just so much to still show. Oh. Yeah, we'll go turn in the items we got from the ZNMs that we currently beat to Sanraku. And then I'll take a short break and start another recording. Because this is an hour and a half, and if you've already watched this far, then you're probably really bored. Or using me as second monitor content to just have a voice talking to you. Which I appreciate. Like, no matter your reasons for watching all the way through any of my Let's Play videos, I appreciate it. I said it before, towards the start of Let's Play, you know, I ruminated on taking off and being famous and whatnot, like some sort of moron. But then I was just, you know, I also said I'd just be happy to know that my Let's Play made someone happy. And I still feel that way about it, and it like, even knowing like that someone's watching and getting something out of it is one part humbling and like one part like ego stroking. Just think that I could put a smile on somebody's face, or you know, like a fuzzy, warm feeling. It's very happy making. Okay, that's actually a pop item for the other path that we need to use. But now, because we still have a shit ton of Zinni, we can just buy the next pop items that we want to use. And you'll notice that because we turned in Chigger, we can get another Vertile. And then because we killed Vertile and turned in his thing, we can get another one of these. And we need to do Experimental Amiya and none. We don't need... once you get to the tier 3, you actually have to do each individual one. So we want to grab Experimental Amiya. And then we want to grab... Like, it literally doesn't matter, we just grab Vertilite again. And you notice the price of the Zenny went up since last time? Just the way the Zenny prices work is every time somebody buys a pop item from the same ZNM, then it becomes more expensive again for the next person who buys it, no matter who it is. And it takes time for it to drop back down. But yeah, I think I'm gonna take a break and get a snack. And I'll probably kill Vertilite off screen. I'll come back with either at the experimental Lamia spawn point, which is in Repico Reef, or I'll show off going there or something. I don't know which. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay safe and have a great day. And I hope you enjoy my Let's Play.